Hey everybody, T.O. from Art Geek Teaching. Today we're going to make patina on paper using Verde paints. Coming up. Okay, in prep here, what I've done is I put my paint in a warm water bath for about 10 minutes. These paints have been sitting around here for a long time, and so you could see some of the metal parts have stuck up against the side. So I just wanted to kind of loosen them up a little bit. You probably won't have to do that. Then I also coated, this is just 17-pound cheapo copy paper over here, and here is a coated piece of tea bag paper. Here is an uncoated piece of tea bag paper. And what I coated them with was just Liquitex matte medium. This stuff is great. I just coated it, one coat, one side, put them aside to dry. Now they're dry, and we will do bronze on one, brass on one, and iron on one. We'll set those aside. We'll do the same thing on each one of our pieces of tea bag paper as a test. I'm curious to see if it'll work better if it's coated or if it's not coated. So I'll go get a brush. Here we go. I'm going to do the tea bag paper, I guess, one at a time as I go along. And so we'll do, let's do brass first. And what we have to do with this is 2 coats. On the second coat, while it is wet, we will spray it with the activator. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to change my brush or not. You could see the chunks of metal in here. And again, this stuff is pretty old, so not quite sure how well this will work. But I thought it would be nice to have some, some metal-looking papers to be able to collage with. And I'm pretty sure I can do that as long as I have my cheapo paper coated. You know, it's a pretty thin paper, not nearly as thin as our tea bag paper, of course, but it's pretty thin. So anyway, here's the tea bag paper, coated on the top, uncoated on the bottom. We'll do this first coat, and we'll let these guys dry. This tea bag paper is amazing. This is such cool stuff. All right, there we go. I'm going to set these aside. Go ahead and rinse out my brush. I'm going to put this over with brass beside it. All right, next we're going to use iron. Woo, that's iron, all right. That's dark. And it kind of smells. You could tell that this is old. I'm just going to wipe out my brush here a little bit. Not clean it totally, but okay. Yeah, the bronze didn't have any kind of smell at all. This, the iron, you could tell, this paint is spoiled. I don't know if you've ever been around spoiled paint or not, but, you could still use it, but it smells kind of sulfury. Seems like, for me, in my studio, the cobalt blue is the one that tends to go the fastest. So I've learned not to buy too much in advance. I used to buy paint when I had money to buy paint, and then sometimes, it would sit longer than it should have. And so, yeah, not the best way to do it. All right, here we go. This is iron on tea bag. Yeah, this tea bag paper is amazing. It's just super thin, works great for encaustic. All right. I've used this paint on a couple different projects that I can link but I've not done anything for anything I could do with collage. So I thought, well, let's see what happens. I am quite sure that it will work just great. In fact, this bronze, this one's looking good. My favorite one, which is copper, I am out of. Okay, I am going to wash my brush. We're going to let these dry, and we'll see what happens. Okay, these guys are dry, and you probably should wear gloves with these. I didn't. Normally I would, and I just didn't think about it. I don't wear gloves unless I'm, usually when I'm working with resin, I think about it. But anyway. All right, we're going to go with brass. This is our brass piece. These are the two pieces of tea bag paper. The uncoated one tore because I left it glued down, and it glued itself to my table. So that was my fault, but most of it actually came up, which is crazy. I ripped a little bit of hole in it, but we're going to go ahead. Brass, make sure I got the right thing going on. Give it a shake. These are going to be fun to use. Journal. Okay, that is a pretty healthy dose. This is really healthy here. I'm going to use some of that on this side. Okay. Let me clean this. I'm going to try to spray these all at once. I think it'll work a little bit better because there's no way I can kind of keep that separate. I think iron is next. Yep. Iron. There's some iron. There's a little iron. I can feel the chunks in this. And again, you want to put the activator on when this is wet, so that's why I'm trying to hurry here. We want these wet. And it'll take 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to put a little more. Where's my iron? I'm going to put a little more on here. It'll take 20 to 30 minutes for us to start seeing some results, I think. All right. Need a little shot over here. And we'll wash our brush. Last one, bronze. Bronze seems to go on the easiest out of all of them. Well, copper. I wish my copper wasn't out because copper is amazing. It's my favorite for a reason. Okay, this time I'll try to remember to pick up my bronze so it doesn't glue itself down to the paper underneath. That would be a bonus. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray these. I have no idea what's in the activator or anything else, actually. All right. I think I got all these, some big spots, some little sprays. Come back when they're dry. We'll start with our tea bag papers. This is the one that is not coated. These are a little bit damp yet, and so I'm thinking that on the iron, which is the second one, the first one is brass. This is brass, iron, and bronze. Yeah. Brass, iron, and bronze. And so two things. One, if I was lighter on the activator, we would see more of the underlying come through, like especially on on, you know, where these are almost all teal. If you wanted more of that color under, you know, the brass and the bronze to come through, you would just use less activator. Now, the other thing I could do is go through here and go back over it with a little bit of the color, a little bit of the bronze or a little bit of the brass, and it would bring some of that back in. But I can't see this because the sun is so bright. There's that one. That's the uncoated one. This is the coated one. And you can see this is still wet over here on the bronze. But same thing with the brass. I needed to use a little bit less activator. I did use a lot of activator. This is our brass paper. You can barely even see the brass through there. You know, so it is a nice teal look. Here is the iron, and as this dries, this will turn more rusty color. And then finally, what is this? Bronze? Yeah, here is the bronze. Okay, so not that I'm super happy with the way the color came out, because I think I used more activator than I would like for my taste. However, the point of the test, the experiment, was to find out if we could actually use these papers or get an effect, a patina effect on these really thin papers. And, you know, from that perspective, we definitely can. So it'll be fun to make something out of these. I'll probably end up doing some sheets of each, probably tea bag, as well as some more 17-pound copy paper. And honestly, I almost think that there's no need to coat the tea bag paper. I kind of like the way that these worked without the coating a little bit better. So that's it. Thank you. Have a good day.